Hey guys, it's Ellen here, and welcome to Floral Friday and Floral Friday Practice Watercolor. We're working on some loose, simple zinnias. These aren't these extravagant looking zinnias. They're taken from a photograph that I took in my mother's garden. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Also, if you're a Patreon member, you can download the photograph that I have. If you're not a Patreon member, it's a place people go and support my channel. I have ad-free videos, traceables, reference photos, live streams once a month, and download for the top tier. If you haven't hit the bell notification button, please do so know when my tutorial's up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. So if you want to find out about Patreon, just click the little link up here, boop, and you can check it out. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to go over some supplies. I just have a piece of scrap paper for now, just to go over practice. The zinnias, I have a photograph of it. You can just pull a photograph off the internet anywhere. My Patreon members can download this photograph. I'm using bright rose Holbein paint today, mixed with some of the yellow, and I'll be playing around with using my Robert Simmons half-inch sapphire oval brush and the Princeton 8 long round. Ta-da! Now there are a couple ways you can try it. You can start off by just doing the center here. These little, look like a little, they're like mini flowers within a flower. You like little, let me zoom in. So I'm mixing up some, just to have some cadmium yellow deep here. Just like that, right? These little star kind of shapes. It's like a little flower within a flower. On this one. Some of the zinnias you can see from afar. On this one, kind of like a little rounded area section like this. You would just grab the yellow and you just kind of dot it going around like this. I'm going to do it two different ways. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice, I guess. And for the petals, I'll grab the half-inch oval. I mixed up some of this bright rose with some of that yellow to get that cotton candy kind of, I'm trying to mimic that cotton candy kind of color. It won't be perfect, but close enough for me. And we're just going to do, we're not going to, it's really difficult to get all those layers in. I mean, you can really try and do it, but we'll just get the feeling of it. So we'll take the brush and I'll just kind of twist it. See that? Twist it, pull it in. Twist it and pull it in. There's a petal back here. Twist it and pull it in. Pull it in. See? Just like this. Right? There's little layers of petals behind it. And then there's ones underneath behind it here also. That's going to be my simple zinnia. And then the ones behind this one, a little more bright, almost like fuchsia color. You get that bright rose, might add a little ultramarine to get that fuchsia kind of tone to it. And see, this brush can make tiny petals or bigger ones. And just go like that, around, like so, right? Get used to using the brush, using the movement. So you want to go like push down, kind of pull back up, down, pull back up. You can kind of connect it. You can twist it to make leaves. I can actually make leaves with this brush. Little movements like this. That's the practice part. All right, let's get into the thick of it. Let's just paint some zinnias like you see in the picture. Again, gonna do the same kind of practice that I showed you. Gonna mix up some more paint. So that rose, gonna mix up a fair amount. And some of the cadmium yellow deep and more rose. Get that cotton candy kind of pink. Okay. I water it down and I always kind of tap off the excess water on my paper towel. It just kind of helps me. So I actually didn't paint the yellow part first, but I can do that. You can do it beginning or you can do it afterwards. It's just getting a little more orangey, a little more pink. Okay. Again, see how I just went like that? Pulled it in. Maybe it's a little too... You pull that in, you twist. There's a little half petal here, little petal here, and a bigger one twisting out here. And then we've got some petals here. A lot of layers with the zinnias. And another layer here. One behind here. Be careful with the layers in between the flowers. See, I'm just going to put little indications of petals behind that one. And then we'll go in and we'll add the little yellow stamens, filling that in. Now you could have done that at the beginning like I showed you. The little stars. For this one, I'll do this one like we did before. I'm going to add a little burnt umber to it just to tone down the yellow a little bit. So I'll put that little crown kind of yellow up here. Just tapping it. Tap, 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 tap. With this brush. So it looks like little dots. Little crown. This one's still drying. You can try and do little yellow stamens. It's not my best one. I think the first one was better than that, but practice. You know, I'm not going to be perfect either. I'm going to put another one over here, a little yellow. This one's that pretty kind of purpley pink color. All right, and then I'll grab. This one's more of a fuchsia, so I have my magenta. Playing around with that. Again, it's a little damp here, so you're going to be careful with this one. You're going to twist it on its side. Pull down a little bit so you can see. See? Connect that. Connect that. Little ones here in the photograph. And then twist, pull in. Twist, pull in. That's my zinnia for that one. They're a tricky flower to paint, actually. They're like, kind of reminds me of dahlias. They're kind of tricky. It doesn't quite look like that crown. It looks a little different, but close enough for me. And then we have that pale purple pink. So I've got the ultramarine blue. I'll add some more magenta. I'll tap that color off, and then again, a lot of layers in this one. See, just coming in here. You might want to wait till the yellow dries before you connect it like I did, but little short ones here, and then bigger ones here. See, little short ones. This brush is great. You can just twist and turn and make the little petals. And then you do like little ones in the back to get the feel of the zinnia. Right? You got a little bleed going on here. No big deal. You can kind of fix it if you want by going back over the color. Adding another layer for your zinnia. I'm just going to make one random over here. Doing the same petal technique. Pushing, pushing. And I'll add the stamens in a bit. This one's just like a simple flower, so we can do it that way also. Get that purple color here. So if you wanted to do, just picture if you want to draw in a circle and then do the petals out like that. So I would maybe draw in just to give a guide over here, a circle. Right, we know the stamens are going to come up here, and we can do that purple color. And these are more separated than the ones that were closer. Still a zinnia, but it's separated. I think what gives it that look is that those yellow little spikes. See? All separated. And go here. Just like that, an open one. We are going to connect the dots with the leaves. So I'm going to let that dry. We'll work on some leaves and then we'll come back to that. Get a little bleed going on here. I'll just kind of lift up that paint. And I'll go back in and add the fuchsia color. Okay. We can use the same brush for leaves. So I have my peacock blue. Clean up my brush. I'll grab some of that yellow, like a nice bright green. And a little more blue. Nice deep green, but very bright. I always add a touch of burnt umber. I just want to tone it down just a bit. So then we can use this brush. You're holding it on side, right? You can use this brush just go like that, and like that. Connect it. Simple like that. I know you say it's not simple, but that's kind of how we're connecting it. I put another little addition here. And then you could actually make leaves with this brush. So the leaves, just like that. It's a little twist. Because they're pointy leaves. It's a little trickier on the other that way. But just like that. Making the leaves. So you didn't think you could make leaves with this brush, but you can. Holding it on its side. Right? Got this bright green. To me, it's like too monotone. I'm gonna go in and add some browns and some blues. So I got that burnt umber. I can throw some of that in, or some Prussian blue. Get some Prussian blue up here, just to change it up. Like that. And then you want to add some lighter color leaves. Get some more yellow. I mean, it's not showing it in this particular picture, but I like to add more fun colors. Going crisscrossing over that. I think it just add a little something. Add some more stems. Right? You don't want to keep it all one monotone. Go back into the greens again. You can add some Prussian blue to this color. This is how we're going to do our little zinnias today, a little watercolor practice. You're practicing along with me. This should be dry by now. I can take my Princeton 8 long round, grab some of that yellow, and I'll mix it a little bit of that burnt umber with it. And then you can make those little crisscross applesauce little marks. Same thing here. Little crisscross applesauce. This is still wet. We'll go back and fix that. And then it has a dark purple tone under here. So we will mix up that. I got some ultramarine blue mixed with some magenta. A little more magenta. So it's like a pinky purple. And I'm just going to put that color right underneath here. Those little yellow marks. and in between. Be careful not to let it bleed into it. Do that similar over in here. Just the dark color kind of out in here. A little bit dark in here. I'm gonna go back and fix that yellow. Another trick, you know, because I always carry, doing it on this one too, and up over in here. I always have gouache everywhere, so if you're finding that your yellow faded out and it's not coming up, we can mix in some yellow with some gouache and it will pull right up. So I went ahead and just, I'm going to show you my point what I'm talking about. So it's made this little section darker, right? It was lighter and I just filled that all in that dark color. I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to show you what I mean by the yellow with the gouache. Okay, so I let that dry. I put some gouache, white gouache here. I'm going to grab some of that yellow paint. I'll just mix it up over here. Grab some gouache, white gouache, and it becomes like yellow gouache. And then you can go right over in this paint that you just put down and put those little yellow marks right on top. So if you don't have a whole bunch of gouache, you just have one, that's what I would grab, the white. And it will stand out. It's a little trick, right? This one kind of didn't go the way I wanted to go, but that's okay. So that's the zinnia. I'm just going to add a little more color in here, deeper color. Once that's dry, you could go and add in a layer of petals, which I'm kind of doing right now. I'm using my Princeton 8 long round. A little more control. You can add another layer, because don't forget that some of these zinnias have like double layers of petals. But I wouldn't fuss with it too much. See, I might go back in here, in between, and add another layer of petals. Just by going on top of those and just filling in those spaces. And this one was an open one, so I wouldn't do that one. And this is really how I would do zinnias. I mean, you can add whatever flowers you want. Again, I might just go back in and play around with some bright colored ones over here. Now, using the Princeton long round, okay, so if you don't have that oval brush, you have a pointy brush like this. You're gonna have to make you're gonna have to work to make the petals. You're gonna have to do this like loopy kind of painting, like this. See how I looped that? Loop. Loopy. Just like that. And then I would wait for that to dry before I put the yellow in. This one, you can do some finer details on this lower one here. With the Princeton, I would put like little lines. Just a few, not too much. A little deeper color. And around the tips, it was a little bit darker. If you feel like this one lost its way, you can add, like I said, another layer of the petals. Just go back in here. I'm going to just tweak. Oops. Some of the petals. You can make it a little bit darker. I'm going to add more concentrated of this color. Kind of here, going outward. So this is a loose zinnia style. I mean, it can be more intense realistically, but this is how I'm going to be doing mine. And I'm just going to put in that yellow, add a little orange kind of tone to it. Still kind of wet. I'm just going to tap in that yellow, just for the tutorial purposes. And that's kind of it. Like if you want to go back in here and tweak in and add, like I said, some deeper color in between those little marks just to pull them out. And little veins on the leaves. We didn't do that, but you can, you know, some little veins. Pretty much this is a loose style of doing a zinnia. They're a little bit tricky. But this is how, oops, I'm sorry. So you just do the veins. I'm sorry I didn't show you. I just add a little deep color in this purple one. And then, you know, up in here too, you can do the same thing. You can go and fix that. But look at the zinnias. Just gonna fix this little mound here. Darker color. And if you mess it up, you can go back in like I showed you with the gouache and the yellow paint. So you have that yellow popping through. And this is my loose zinnia for today. You know, I might want to add a couple little baby ones. Oh, I got gouache everywhere. Grab some of my paint. Some more stems. Make it more interesting. Don't fuss with it too much though. See, go like that. Put another one up here. This is with the Princeton 8 long round. You might fuss with it a little bit more. I like that bright pinky fuchsia color. So I'm just going to go on the side. Not really showing the full flower. Just like that. Just like that, little flower. See? Put one out in the distance. And there you go. So that's my simple zinnia. I mean, you know, other people have different ways of doing theirs. But that's how I would do mine. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Also, don't forget, if you're a Patreon member, you can download my photo that I took from my mother's yard. She has a zinnia. She grows her zinnias in front of her house every year. And with that, I'm just going to go put some more leaves in here. Layer in. See? Once that's dry, I can go and layer in some leaves. Couldn't do that beforehand. It would just bleed into each other. So then it looks like a nice crowded. And once these are dry, you can add some leaves in between these flowers. See, I'm carefully going around the petals. And they'll pop out a little more. There you go for Floral Friday practice. If you have any questions in the comment section, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial's up. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Have a great day. Take care.